And it's an exciting time when we're spending so much time actually talking about new stadium builds. And obviously, Nottingham Forest and Marinakis want to build this new 50,000 seat stadium and training complex on new grounds away from where they currently are home. But a local architect actually says he's figured out a way to keep it on that same plot of land and fit more people. Do you think there's one option that's better than the other for the future of the club, or it's really what makes more sense for Marinakis? You think the fans are going to have a huge, difference in opinion and stop going if they move it away from the city ground?
I think in this case, it's absolutely vital that they keep the club where it is. I know the city very well. I went to university in Nottingham, so I understand the landscape and the geography of the whole thing. And I've been to the city ground many times, and I think its proximity to the city centre is crucial. And this is a classic negotiation between the city council and a football club. And the city council should be careful about what they wish for here, because I know they have legal responsibilities to try and get the best value of any lease of city land, etc. But there's a much bigger picture of what a Premier League club brings to your city, and the spending around Premier League games now, and the economic impact that the club has. With so many American owners coming into the Premier League, those cities should be frightened that all of a sudden the franchise model doesn't come in. And, if Marinakis, I'm sure he'd be one of the first candidates to say, okay, I'm going to move to Coventry. Those sort of things, which we always hope would never, ever come to the UK. But I'm just saying as a what if. And certainly I think, look, Marinakis is a very shrewd negotiator. They've already had one run against the city council. It seems the city council lost that first round, and now they're licking their wounds and they're coming back a bit stronger. But they've got both parties should be able to get together here and work out a common sense arrangement, because Nottingham, without Nottingham Forest and Notts County, that's what makes, that's the reputation for that city in many, many ways. Especially Forest are contributing immensely to that local economy in so many ways. And it isn't just the fan expenditure, but it's also the property estate, that are being bought from players, managers, etc. There's a whole lot that goes on around a football club, and the city council should be, polishing that asset rather than fighting against it. And I just hope that, Marinakis, I can imagine, is not everybody's cup of tea in terms of the way he may negotiate. But nevertheless, there's got to be a way that they've got to, smoke the peace pipe together and see if they can find a win-win for both parties. I believe that, having seen what I've seen in terms of numbers and ambitions that both parties want, there is a way through this. It can be done, and I think it just takes, to be locked in a room and say, right, we're not coming out until it is done. I think, as I say, I think there can be a win-win. The council can come out of it looking as though they've done a great job, and Marinakis can have a very stable long-term future. And I do believe that 50,000, well, even 45, built on the present City Ground site would be fantastic. But where do they play when that's being done? It's another big issue. And that's always a big problem for a club when they have those sort of ambitions of building on existing sites. But that's an argument for another day, another discussion. But right now, I do think moving out to Totten, which is the area that Totten, I don't know how you pronounce it, in Nottingham, wouldn't necessarily be a great move. And I think there would be some fans that do not want to go there. I've had that issue around Everton when we tried to move a stadium out of right from the city centre to an area about 4 miles away. A lot of fans would not want to go, and I understand the heritage, the tradition, and I completely get it, and I understand that. And I think that there's got to be a way that, I think that site is being used as leverage on the city council in the negotiation. And I think that both parties, as I say, have got to come to their senses, and let's keep it at the city ground in some way and give them the increase in revenue they need and a more stable financial future. Then it can be a win-win.
And does any of this actually hinge on their ability to stay in the Premier League this season? Like, if they're, by January looking like they're going to drop down, does any of this really depend on that, or they're moving forward with this new ground no matter what the case?
I think that, they're going to be pressing buttons when they start to see how the season's going. There's no doubt. I mean, you're going to wait till Christmas, and if you find yourself with 6 points at the bottom of the table, it's going to be difficult to then find the finance and have the belief to really push that button and go ahead. I do think Forest, though, will find themselves not in a relegation battle this year. I think and that's when it's important that if they do maintain the Premiership this year, then I think you're going to start to see the buttons pushed, and quite rightly. Look, it's been a battle for them the last few seasons to establish themselves. I think they're almost there. They've battled a points deduction, and they've shown resilience and adversity, and I hope that they can do it. But yes, as I say, if you're in that, if you're having a terrible season, they end up with 6 terrible injuries at the start. It's going to be very hard to push those big, pound sign buttons. But look, they've got to have a long-term belief that they're going to get there, and I really hope they do, because the stronger the league, the better for all of us.